Relations Council. It is April 17th, 2019. Would we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming today. And we'll start with introductions. And, I don't know, why don't we start with Joe?
Me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm Joe Wanamaker, City of Kettering Council.
George Bayless, City of Kettering.
Rob Stevens, Oakwood City Council.
Jay Weiskircher, MVCC.
Joanne Rouse, City of Centerville.
Brian Wofsig, City of Germantown.
Steve Harding, City of Springboro.
Michelle Collins, City of Williamsburg.
Leanne Nash, West Carrollton, councilperson.
All right, excellent. Okay, we have the February 20th, 2019 meeting minutes in front of us. Are there any changes or edits that need to be made to those minutes?
I moved it be approved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, that motion passes. Thank you. All right, today we have a guest. We have a presentation from the TCSU Director, Bob Green. I'll give a brief introduction. Bob has an extensive resume. Bob came to us in October, I guess, of last year, and he came to us from the Kettering Police Department. I believe you retired after 25 years?
Yes.
Kettering Police Department. There he spent time on the Vice and Drug Unit, where he coordinated buys of illegal narcotics and prostitution, coordinated and directed patrol surveillance and operations, oversaw a 4-year person undercover unit, oversaw the intelligence officer, and assisted the TCSU with operations and providing manpower. And now I'm going to also jump to, he was also a patrol officer and a detective for almost 10 years. He came to Kettering from Montgomery County Sheriff's Department, where he was the deputy sheriff from January of '88 until August of '93, almost 6 years, 5.5 years. He has teaching experience with the Clark County Community College. He's conducted quite a bit of training for TCSU and the Greene County Adult Education and the Ohio Peace Officer Training Academy. So, Bob also has a degree in Bachelor of Arts in Psychology and Criminal Justice from the University of Cincinnati. So, thank you, Bob, for joining us.
Thank you for having me. The purpose of me being here is to give you a little bit of background on the Tactical Crime Suppression Unit. We have been around since 1974. I was 10 years old at that time, so I haven't been with them that long. We are one of the oldest task force. Basically it's a concept that it was ahead of its time back then. Now you know of a lot of task force that are around, whether it be range or ACE task forces or a lot of drug task force. We also, not only drugs that you'll see, but we investigate other crimes within our conglomerations of cities, which involve all of you. Our mantra is basically crimes without borders, because one of the things that we found, especially in the heroin epidemic, is that the crime does not have a border. Right? If Montgomery County or the city of Dayton is considered a large hub in the state of Ohio for heroin, we're going to feel it in our cities. So we will go beyond our borders. We're staffed. I'm the director. I have an administrative assistant. And then the cities, the 8 cities, they provide 3 detectives. Kettering and Centerville always have a detective assigned to us, and then it goes in a rotation. Currently, we have Germantown assigned to us, but in May we're going to transfer over, and Oakwood's going to assign a detective, and then Germantown will stay in part-time. It's our goal to try to grow the task force in the future. We also have a federal agent from the USDA, which is very helpful because he can assist us a lot with theft of the human resource, like the EBT cards, if welfare cards and things like that. There's a lot of theft that goes on there, so we utilize him. We have a state agent from the Ohio Investigative Unit, and Josh is an agent who can also work with the EBT cards, but he works undercover. We look at for any alcohol violations, whether it be underage sales, whether it be bars that are selling excessive sales, or any type of violation, drugs, anything like that. So we work with his agency, and they've assigned Josh on a part-time basis as well. And finally, we have an analyst from the National Guard. He's currently a lieutenant. He's going to be promoted soon to captain, and he runs all our analysis. He's also a computer whiz, so when I don't know how to do anything on my cell phone, which is common, he can fix that for me too, so it's very beneficial to me. The cities that are involved, we have Centerville, Germantown, Kettering, Miamisburg, the Miami Valley Cable Communications Center, and Moraine, Oakwood, Springboro, and West Carrollton. Currently, we are actively working cases in West Carrollton, Springboro, Moraine. We're helping in another case in Kettering and Miamisburg. That is what we're actively doing now. Now, basically, when we are not working narcotics cases, we are helping out or investigating for these agencies, whether it be property crimes, violent crimes, or any type of investigative support. The city of Springboro had an incident at their school system involving one of their educators. We sent our analysts over to him to help out. That has been very beneficial for them. When we've had other violent crimes that have occurred in other cities, we'll send out staff to help them out, to give them manpower support, whatever they need. You will see in the presentation that we have a lot of technical equipment at our disposal. Well, we loan that equipment out to different detective sections within the cities. Property crimes, we work with the NICB, National Investigative Crime Bureau. They actually provide us with 3 vehicles, undercover vehicles, and through that agreement, we will recover stolen cars. The license plate readers that you might see on cruisers that read license plates, well, that can pick up a stolen vehicle automatically. Well, people are actually paid in civilian cars with those license plate readers, LPRs. When they get a hit, they'll send it to a gentleman from NICB who notifies us. We go out and pick up the car. We'll sit on it for a little bit, see if we can get an apprehension out of it. If not, we'll secure the vehicle with whatever city we're in. And the exchange for us doing that, they have provided us with 3 cars. Recently, they also provided us with what we refer to as a bait trailer. And it's a trailer that the insurance company no longer wanted. The claim had been paid out, so we'll actually put that trailer out when we have theft at construction sites, see if it gets stolen, have a GPS to it, and then we'll go up to their front door and take our trailer back and arrest them as well. So we have many different avenues of which we can investigate different crimes. We're lucky enough to have body wires, body cams, which are many, not just the normal body cams. These might be a coffee cup, a pair of sunglasses, a hat. It's nothing that you would know that's there. We have access. We have all that type of equipment that we can do undercover operations with, and we can record the drug buy or the meet with someone if we're interviewing someone. Both covert audio and video. We have GPS. We've also loaned this out to other cities outside the conglomeration when it's a major crime. If you're familiar with the Cheryl Coker case, we assisted them on their investigation as well. She is the young lady that's missing out of the city of Riverside. And we also have access to, we have a pole cam. And a pole cam, we get with DP&L, we put a camera up there, and it sits and watches a house, and we watch who comes in and who comes out. And then that helps our case later, and we can loan this out to all the cities upon request. With the Tactical Crime Suppression Unit, you have a regional SWAT team. It's based out of Kettering. We use them on high-risk search warrants. Within a week, we're preparing up for a very big search warrant. Due to the information that we've learned of the people inside the house, it's considered high risk, and that we know of firearms. And when they're known firearms, we call out the SWAT team. The regional SWAT team has members from all the cities within the conglomeration. So they help us with warrants, whether it's a search warrant or a warrant service. Basically with that, if we have a person who has a warrant and it's a high-risk entry, once again, to take him into custody or her into custody, we will use the SWAT team. Hostage barricade, as you saw in the news, I believe it was yesterday, we had an individual that ran from the city of Kettering into Harrison Township, barricaded himself in the house. The Kettering Regional SWAT team went out and eventually got him out after about 9 hours and a lot of tear gas that was dispensed inside. And then a buy-bust operation. Basically, this is a drug operation where we purchase the drugs undercover and we arrest them immediately. And we will use the SWAT team for those type of operations too. We have polygraph services. They're good for criminal examinations, pre-employments. The pre-employments are 2 exams, a pre-test, which is your longer test. It's about 2.5 hours average, and then a post-test, and this is after the individual's been given a conditional offer. And in the conditional offer, we can ask questions that we're not allowed to ask on the pre-test because of the American Disabilities Act. This can get into medical questions, psychological history, and any type of deviant behavior that's protected under the American Disabilities Act. We have 3 examiners to date. Nadia Dexter's out of Centerville, Greg Stout is out of Kettering, and Mike Burke just came on board. He just graduated from polygraph school here about 2 weeks ago, and he's with Kettering as well. Some of the regional training. This past week, we've been doing legal updates with the departments within the conglomeration of TCSU. We have CPT training, officer safety issues. We'll do traffic stops. We use simunition, which are real guns, but soap bullets. So you feel the sting. It doesn't penetrate the skin. Well, it does if it's on the skin. And that usually happens to me because my clothes move or something. Operation that's coming up, since we're going to be in Dayton, we contact our SWAT team, who contacts Dayton SWAT team, and then they decide who's going to do the entry between the two.
Okay. So the relationship is real good and it works well together, and it's...
Yeah, it's been very good. It's been very good, and we also invite them to train with us, and we share a lot of intelligence.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that in the old days, people tried to hold everything close to their cuff and not share information. Well, with transportation and the mobility, we can't do that anymore. We have to share this information. We have to work as a team, and it doesn't matter whether the city of Dayton borders up to Oakwood or Kettering. It just doesn't matter. We have to share that information and work together because it involves us all.
What kind of turnover rate do you have, Bob?
As far as personnel?
Yeah.
Generally, they try to, when they assign someone to TCSU, it's a 2 to 3 year. Sometimes people will stay 4 to 5 years.
Special training?
We like to have experienced detectives because they have the relationship downtown with the prosecutor's office and they understand the filing system. If not, we can bring them up to speed. When working undercover operations, that takes more time of us training the new person how to work undercover and how to have your backstory and all your information.
Good.
Bob, I had a question about when your SWAT teams or your groups confiscate assets. How is that done, and what happens to those assets?
Okay, initially we will try to take everything we can, and then the court will decide, once the case is disposed of, what they get back and then what we get to keep. We have a separate, TCSU has their own separate, what we refer to as the state fund. Now that money, it's in a special account. It doesn't draw interest. It's not allowed to draw interest. And we can use that to further our mission in the fight against drugs, equipment, and things like that. It can't be used for salaries. if there is an actual, like say a vehicle, we like taking cars and motorcycles too. We will sell those on GovTech, which is the government's way of having eBay. And then they write a check to us and we turn it over to the council, to MVCC.
Thank you. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Okay, I was told I can leave, so I.
No, you have to stay for the whole thing.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And if any time with you, you have the annual report. If you have any questions, Jay and Sheila know how to get a hold of me. Please feel free to call. If anyone would like to come out and tour our office, I don't want to say where it's at in a public forum, but I'd love to have you come out and show you where we're at and show you the equipment firsthand. It's we have a great group of people, and we're very fortunate to be where we're at, and we appreciate your time as well.
Thank you. I
Thank-
think I certainly learned a lot. You know, we of course we're familiar with your operations and the activities that you do on some level, but the detail you provide is very helpful.
Well,
Thank you.
anytime, I'd be happy to come back.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, we'll move on to chair comments. Each of you should have gotten a copy of the revisions to the MVCC bylaws. And those changes primarily associated with some minor updates. It also reflects current practices. We had to make some edits for that. We eliminated the Buildings and Facilities Committee. I don't think in my lifetime we've committed or have met together on that. We added some language also for an annual evaluation of the executive director, and this would be conducted by the GovTech folks and then provided to the executive committee and used along with any other information we have when we do our annual evaluation of the executive director. So that was the purpose of that. And I think the other change I'd mention is that the executive director can now be a contract employee as well as an at-will employee of MVCC. So those are the major points. I don't know if you guys had any other questions or if you want to take some more time and come back with any edits you may have. We'd like to go ahead and put that on the May agenda for approval. So if you have any other changes, just let us know. Kind of route them through Jay. And then the fiber optic project is proceeding. I know we've seen the equipment in Centerville up there by Sinclair Community College, the new one there on Clio. So we're seeing it progress, and I think it's delayed a little bit to the end of May, the final completion date, due to the frigid weather and the rains that we've had. But we'd like to celebrate that activity by having a fiber lighting ceremony. So when it's complete, hopefully by June, we would like to have a ceremony here at MVCC. The tentative date is June 13th, and invite all of your elected officials and associated people associated with MVCC to participate. And love to have everybody come here. I think I could probably refer to Jay here to give you any details on that ceremony.
It is Thursday, June 13th, and we're looking at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We will send out formal invitations probably the first part of May or so. Still working on the details in terms of how we're going to handle this, but hopefully we'll have some nice surprises for you.
And maybe a few elected officials, right?
Yes.
Beyond the cities. All right, we'll move on to old business.
As Chairwoman Rao just mentioned, we included in your packet an updated construction map. Coincidentally, the crews are working on Clio Road right in front of Sinclair's new Clio Road campus. So if you happen to go by that area and see a couple of large spools out front with colored conduit, that's the MVCC project. Also, just because of the cold and wet weather we had during the first 3 months of the year, we are running a little bit behind. Originally, we were shooting at completion date of early May, but that has been pushed back to late May. However, we really have no deadline to speak of, so really, we just want to try to get the fiber lit as soon as we can. So the fact that we do have a brief delay is not really have any major impact on anything we're doing down the road. So I have been assured by others that everything will be ready to go when we light the fiber on June 13th. So everything is in
The new
The
deadline.
new deadline is June 13th.
Yeah, exactly.
Bye.
Exactly. Any questions on that? Okay, fiber marketing outreach. Since I came on board in early January, our team has been reaching out to providers and potential partners who can assist us with marketing and or purchasing the excess fiber that we are putting in the ground. Those discussions are ongoing and will continue in the foreseeable future. But simply stated, I mean, what we're doing now is what we want to do is either lease or sell the excess fiber that we are putting in the ground. And then the revenue that's generated from that will be primarily used for two purposes. First purpose would be to further expand the MVCC net at some future time, and also to help offset the loss of franchise fees that we get through Spectrum. We're looking at obviously how to raise additional revenue to take the place of the franchise fees, which have been declining now for several years. Besides the value of the fiber, we are also putting in the ground empty conduit, and that is valuable as well. So we have been talking with people who are looking to purchase the conduit as well, and again, that's a significant source of revenue as well. We'll continue to keep you updated on this. I would say the next time we meet in mid-May, we'll have much more significant information to share with you, and hopefully be closer at that time to being able to release the names of some of the people who we have been talking with. Any questions on that?
Yeah, Jay, when you say expand the network, I'm assuming the actual ring is what you're talking about?
I really think, Mr. Stevens, in the case, in some areas we would be building redundancy. In other words, we would be putting in additional fiber so we have excess fiber to sell. So in some of the areas right now where there is existing fiber, it doesn't have as many strands as what we're currently putting in the ground.
So more fiber on the existing line.
Correct.
Not so much going
Not
to
so
another city.
correct.
Okay,
Correct.
I follow you.
Because again, as part of the discussions we have, we would like to hook our network into other networks that are already existing in this area. So that's how, we would get that additional connectivity.
Okay. thank you.
Okay.
Yep.
Excellent. All right, we'll go on to new business. And we have item A is a resolution 2019-005, applying a portion of franchise fee rebates to the Tactical Crime Suppression Unit. Do I have any discussion on that, or? Okay.
I move approval of resolution 2019-005.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Nays? No? All right, that motion passes. Thank you. And then we have a financial report. Sheila, would you like to come give us an update?
Her answer would be no, she really wouldn't want to come up here, but
But we matched today,
I've
so.
asked her to do that, and I told her you would ask her very nicely to do that.
The financial statements have been submitted in your packet, and we do have the year-end financials finished. They'll be submitted to the auditor in the next couple of weeks, and everything is on board. We're good financially. We're within our budget, and everything's going well. Does anyone have any questions or comments?
Have we heard back on the mini audit?
We're currently waiting the financial statements have to be filed on Hinkle. Once they're through Hinkle, there's a process, I guess, so no, we've not.
We haven't heard back. Is there a time frame on that? I mean,
I would expect hopefully in the next couple weeks that we would hear back from that.
okay.
Thank you, Sheila. I was real pleased to see that 2018 ended up on an up note, so
I was very relieved. It was very nice, yeah. Thank you.
thank you. All right, any questions? Anything we've covered so far? I think we're good. All right, we'll move on to the Executive Director's Report.
Thank you. I have a few things here to talk about. At our February meeting, I think I mentioned we do an annual program. It's a joint pavement bidding program that we do for both our member cities and our affiliates. This year we had 10 communities who expressed an interest, so we went out for bid for pavement marking services. We got the quantities from the cities, and then we sent those out. We had 2 bidders respond. Our staff, Sheila and Jen, they worked on the bid tabs. They sent those out to the member cities, and that's where our involvement in the process stops. From there, the member cities take a look at the quotes, and they look at the providers that provide them with the best price for those services, and then it's up to them to contact the providers and then enter into contracts and work out dates and all those other details. So again, we had 10 communities participate this year, and there's no question that we're able to get a better unit cost than if communities went out and did this on their own.
Have you got any idea how much money that we're saving our cities?
Well, you know, it's a little hard, Mr. Wanamaker, to know that because we don't have anything to compare it to because, again, a lot of the cities who are in this program, they don't go out to bid then. So I think for some of the larger cities, there's probably a very significant savings.
It is because they don't have to have the equipment to do the striping with anymore.
Right.
And that's expensive equipment.
Right. And plus there's the, you know, they don't have to move in and out. They can get in this area and stay here and do their work rather than having to move their equipment in and out of different communities. So there's a staging savings that's associated
that's a very good program.
with that as well. In late March, I had an opportunity to meet with the Government Affairs Director at Spectrum. He is relatively new to his position as well. He came on board last summer. His name is Jason Kirshner, and he is in charge of the Cincinnati and the Dayton markets. He just happens to be a native of Kettering, so he knows this area very well. And he's now our go-to person on matters related to cable operations and franchise administration. I have invited Jason to attend probably the meeting we're going to have in late summer to make a presentation to talk about the offerings and services provided by Spectrum, as well as some of their future initiatives. So he will be here probably in a few months. I think we'll establish an ongoing dialogue with him. I think it's important for him to stay in touch with us, so I would think he will be a frequent visitor to our meetings. I think he still has some family up in this area, so that'll probably be a good opportunity for him to come in and socialize with his family members. He has already helped us with a project over in Germantown with their new council chambers that's under construction. He's currently working with our staff on some billing issues. So to the extent that you hear from anyone in your community that has a cable issue going on, please let me know, because he would be the person who could cut through the red tape and hopefully get answers. Like I say, he seems like a very nice person who's extremely interested in seeing if he can be of assistance to us.
When I first came on the board 4 years ago than I want to think about. We used to have a then Time Warner representative at every meeting. He would sit right there. And so this wouldn't be anything new to have somebody from the cable company sitting with this group.
It would not be new, and I think we all agree that it probably makes a lot of sense for that person to come here on a more frequent basis than maybe they have been doing in the past. And I think he's willing to do that. Moving on, I had mentioned to you at your previous meeting that we are working on the MVCC website. We're updating that. Tom Spar is our webmaster, and Liberty Lord, one of our staff members. They're putting the final touches on that. We will be in a position at your May meeting to make a PowerPoint presentation and show you what's been done. So we're very excited about that project. Something that we're also excited about, but we maybe don't talk about it as much as we should, is the amount of community programming that comes out of MVCC and also our member cities. As you all know, we have full-time production staff who work here, and they work with the staff members and volunteers from our member communities to produce programs and film events in your community that are of interest, obviously, to your residents. We included in your meeting packet, I think there were 80 to 85 different programs that were mentioned, and that we broke those down by community. I mean, one of the questions you might ask is, why do some communities have 15 or 20 programs and other communities maybe only 5 or 6? And really, that has everything to do with the fact that some of the larger communities have full-time people who do PR types of things and work with the MVC staff. So they are more inclined and have some more time to do a lot of the programming. Some of the smaller communities really don't have a person like that, so they assign that, depending on what the project is, to individual staff members. So, you know, it's really nothing but a timing thing. But I think all the communities with resources they have really do a nice job, and it's nice to watch the programs on TV and find out all the good things that are happening in the south suburbs. So kudos to the MVC staff and also to the staffs in your respective cities who spend a lot of time and effort on those programs. Also in May, Yolanda Stevens is going to be here. Yolanda is our training and development manager, and she puts together all the training programs for MVCC that we make available to our member and affiliate communities. We also work very closely with the Miami Valley Risk Management Association and the Center for Local Government in Cincinnati. What we try to do is coordinate these programs so we're not duplicating our training efforts. And in providing training on a larger scale, we're able to do more member-focused programs, and we're able to do it much more cheaply than you could do in the private sector. Some of our programs are free. Most have a nominal fee, though, that typically covers trainer fees and host expenses. I would say that that our programs are probably about 1/3 the cost of what it would cost if you went out in the private sector and did the same type of programming. So, as Bob touched on, you know, we do TCSU. We do a lot of training for our member communities. We do a lot of training for our affiliates. Some of the training happens in this room right here. We also take the show on the road. Sometimes we move north, sometimes we go south, wherever it's convenient for people. So in the coming months, I'll be providing you, and in fact, Yolanda may provide you some statistics on how much training we do, what our participation is, the money that comes in, the money that goes out. We do not make money on training. If anything, we try to make it a break-even proposition. So that's something we do very well, and again, I think we need to brag about that a little bit more than maybe what we do. Couple more things real quickly. I mentioned again in February that we had money budgeted this year to buy a new van. We currently have a van that's, I think it's a 2007 van. It's got less than 80,000 miles on it, needs to have some body work. Talked to our staff here, and we all agreed that rather than spending that $30,000, perhaps we could just refurbish that van and also do some wrapping of our other two vehicles, the box truck that is often used by TCSU, and our second van, which I believe is a 2014. So through the talented staff we have, they put together some graphic designs. I think we shared that with you in your packet. The vans we have right now, I mean, they look nice. They're rather drab, and so we're going with a multi kind of colored perspective, and I think it really tells a story about what we do here. Our chief engineer, Nick Everett, is a man of many talents, and in fact he has taken it upon himself to actually do the body work on the one van that needs some body work, so that obviously is not going to cost us any money, and we're able to do all this for less than $5,000, so that's a significant savings, and hopefully the older van that we have, it will continue to run well for a few years to come. So again, I wanted to thank our talented staff who have kind of pitched in and helped on this project, and we're going to save significant dollars that way. We hope to get the vans all wrapped and refurbished in time for the parade season, so we try to participate in as many parades as we can, and we want the van to look as nice as it can. And then finally, and I haven't mentioned this to our chairwoman yet, but I'm going to go on a little tour of the city council meetings and kind of spread the good word about MVCC. I was really waiting on the fiber project to be completed, so when that is done, hopefully in a month or two, then I'll start making arrangements with the various clerks of council to get on the various council agendas and come out and make a presentation and just talk a little bit about all the good things that we do here at MVCC. So you'll see me on your agenda probably sometime in the coming months. That's all I have right now, unless anybody has any questions.
Just to comment, Jay, kudos to you and your staff on the savings with the van. At $25,000, that's the kind of stuff that needs to happen to really get us in the right direction financially, and it's a small number for the large budget, but a lot of those add up, so well done to you and your staff.
Thanks.
And I understand two of our employees actually put together the design for the
Right, right. Carl and Liberty actually did the graphics work on it as well, so that saved us money too.
Talented folks.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Move on to board comments. Does anybody have anything they'd like to discuss? Bring up? Opposed? All right. Well, I'm going to adjourn the meeting. Meeting's adjourned.